Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Germany and signals and the table and national interests and developing stories. So, last week we talked about the situation when it came to supplying Ukraine. And I said we'd hear more about it at the end of this week or early next. It is early next. Germany has signaled that they won't block the export of Leopard tanks to Ukraine. Okay. To catch everybody up, Poland in particular is a country that has Leopard tanks that is willing to give them to Ukraine. However, these tanks are of German production, and Germany retains kind of veto power over export. And there was a concern that Germany wasn't going to allow it. They kind of indicated that they wanted the United States to commit Abrams. Now they're signaling that they wouldn't stand in the way. Now, this is all signaling and messaging publicly. It isn't an actual deal yet, but it's all there. It looks like things are moving in that direction. So, we're not going to talk about the actual impact of the tanks here. And I will get a video out about the T-14 at some time soon. Stop sending me messages about that. We're going to talk about that international poker table where everybody's cheating. Because something happened, right? There was a change of heart with Germany. They went from signaling one thing to something else. So what happened? When we were talking about it, we said it was playing out in a semi-public fashion. This part was private. We don't really know, but there are only a few options. So we're going to kind of go over those, and we're going to talk about the different national interests at play. The first option is that we don't know it yet, but the U.S. has agreed to send Abrams. Seems unlikely, but it's possible. Okay. Some kind of deal got worked out there. That's option one. Option two is that the United States slid some other card that Germany wants to them quietly. We don't know what it is. These are the two options that are going to show up in the media the most. Why? Because we're the United States and everybody's going to focus on us. You know, because we run the world, masters of the universe and all that type stuff. There's a third option. And it doesn't have anything to do with D.C., it has to do with Warsaw. We're going to look at it through Polish national interest for a moment. When we talked about national interests, wealth, safety, leading to power, kind of a triangle. That's what makes up national interests. Poland is kind of a frontline country when it comes to NATO. They're sitting there looking at Ukraine, and it is in their national interest, due to safety, for Ukraine to win. And not just win, but for NATO to ingratiate itself with Ukraine in the process. That helps Poland. So Poland wants to give them the tanks. Germany interfering with that upsets their national interests. Make sense? Now to the next part. Poland is looking at Ukraine. They are concerned about further Russian aggression, and they're modernizing their military. This is one of those things when we talk about how the war in Ukraine is already lost for Russia, regardless of how the fighting plays out. This is one of those things. Poland is modernizing their military because of what happened in Ukraine. They're building it up, they're expanding it, and they're building big. So, if we say we are going to modernize our military, we're going to build it up, what does that mean we're about to do? We're about to spend some money, right? We're about to buy some stuff. If Germany wouldn't allow you to export tanks and it infringed on your national interests, would you buy more equipment from them? Probably not, right? Now let's switch to Germany. Wealth, safety leads to power. Selling more equipment to Poland, wealth. Having other countries use your military equipment is safety. Countries that are using your equipment generally don't want to go to war with you because you can cut off the supply chain. To be clear, Poland is not going to go to war with Germany, but it's generally considered good foreign policy to have other countries using your equipment. This is why the United States engages in so much military aid. So now national interests converge. Wealth and safety for Germany, safety for Poland. What brings them together? Leopard tanks going into Ukraine. I don't think that this aspect of it is going to be covered much, but I think it has a whole lot to do with it. Ukraine is in a situation that it needs help. And if it falls, it puts Poland right there. Poland is now border to border in a big way, in a bigger way, with the opposition. So they don't want that, obviously. But at the same time, dealing with preparations and dealing with the borders that they do share with Russian ally, they're preparing, they're expanding, they're building. They're going to spend a lot of money. It looks like they're adopting a saturation strategy, which that means enough to put stuff everywhere. Meaning, if you're going to come through here, you're going to pay for every inch. That appears to be the strategy they've adopted, and that's an expensive strategy. That's a lot of equipment. And Germany probably wants to make some money on it. So national interests converge. Now, do I know that it is option 3? No. In fact, more than likely, it's a combination of option 3 and one of the others. But we don't know that. So it appears right now that Ukraine is going to get their tanks, and some good ones. It's worth noting that the signal is almost hopeful in the sense that maybe Germany is willing to commit some as well. Maybe Germany is starting to read that the rest of the West is not going to bail on Ukraine, and maybe they want Ukraine as a client in the future. Germany has, I want to say, 200 Leopard tanks in storage. Not the active ones that their military is currently using, 200 extra ones. If Germany was to commit those, in addition to the Challengers from the UK and the Leopard tanks from elsewhere in Europe, that would give Ukraine what they need. So there is a little bit of hope there, but again, we don't know this yet. The card game is playing out, and we get to watch it. But when you're watching the news on this, be aware that it's probably going to center on the United States, but there are a lot of countries, Poland in particular, who have a very vested interest in Ukraine succeeding. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.